make your first $100,000? Well, hi, I'm Scott Piccott, Jiu-Jitsu black belt, entrepreneur, and author of The Unlikely Millionaire. Well, there's various avenues, of course, to be able to do that. If you went to university, that's great. You can use your degree or your diploma to qualify to get a job in whatever field of study you graduated from. And you can save money, maybe 10% rule. If you can, save 20%, put that aside from each paycheck, and you can go into a TFSA, a tax-free savings account, into your RRSP is good too. That's tax deductible, of course, and your TFSA is also tax-free, of course. So those are good sheltered areas to build some wealth, build some money there. And mutual funds, of course, different stocks, portfolio that you can build that's diversified and earn money through liquid investments like that, index funds, things like that. And keep feeding to it religiously. Be very committed and consistent to your investment pool, and let your profits compound. So they compound, and the interest builds and builds. If you're getting paid dividends from any of your stocks, just reinvest them. And that's a good way to go. Look to move up in the corporation that you work for. And as an employee, you're taxed the highest, but you can still amass a fair amount of money, invest it wisely. And you can invest in real estate, of course, as well. A principal residence would be tax-free when you go to sell it. And you can have a portion of your home, maybe you rent out as well if it's got a suite of some sort. That's very good. Being an entrepreneur, of course, starting a business is a great way to go. You can co-found a business with a friend or family member or on your own. It'll take a lot of hard work, a lot of time, strong vision, and major commitment. Usually a bit of seed money to get that off the ground, depending. But that's a great way to work towards your first $100,000. Alternatively, you could launch a social media career. That takes a lot of time and effort as well. You could become an influencer if you can amass a good enough following on Instagram. Maybe you've got some viral content you can keep putting out on TikTok. Of course, YouTube is a wonderful platform if you can come up with enough ideas and great content for shorts, or long-term if you've got a skill, something you can teach or share with the world, a wonderful message. Or if you're a great entertainer, very charismatic and fun to watch, and you could certainly build a sole proprietorship or a business in that respect too. Many different ways, really. The way that I did it was through real estate, and I essentially, once I collected, starting from literally nothing, I left my mom's condominium in Langley, British Columbia, after graduating university in business, and I drove out to Calgary, and I got a job with Air Canada. My brother helped me do that. He was already an air marshal with Air Canada. So I was working as a bag attendant, throwing bags, and I saved all the money that I could. I was a roommate in a house. My brother's actually as well, Ronnie, a gentleman that we knew, owned the home, and he rented out rooms in it. So it's $400 a month that we were paying. And so my brother and I worked for Air Canada, and I was saving all the money that I could. Just at that point, putting it in my savings account, not so much investing, just building it up and saving it. This must have been 3-4 months after moving out there and working for Air Canada and so on. I got laid off with the merger of Canadian Airlines and Air Canada. Got a job the same day that I got that news from the Commissionaire's airside security at the airport, because of the high security clearance passes that I held, clearance I had. So I was lucky. Didn't pay a whole lot, but it did give me a job right away, and I got a lot of overtime hours, which is great. I was able to save up with that job. Took almost a year, maybe 8 months. I saved up $18,500, and with that money, I was able to use it for a down payment on my first property. And my first property had 5 bedrooms in it, so I put roommates in it and filled it up. It cash flowed, covered all my expenses, cash flowed. I qualified for a couple lines of credit with Canadian chartered banks before I quit my job as a security guard. And that was, how much were they? About 30,000 one of them and 10 or 15,000 the other one. I used those to acquire more pieces of real estate without really having to put money down, or a very small amount of money down. I looked for sale by owner properties with motivated sellers that had newer high finance on their properties already. So they had 85, 90, 95% mortgages on their home that they're selling. And I would either pay for my line of credit, lend out a bit of equity. These houses, they were probably $150,000 or something back then. This was the early mid-2000s. And so I'd pay them out for the equity, or they would give me a second mortgage, a vendor take-back mortgage, and I would get the property with zero down and have the title to it. I would assume the first mortgage on it with the bank, and I would have the property, and it would be cash flow because I owned the buildings that had suites and upper floors. I could put tenants in and cash flow the property. So by doing that, I amassed 5 or 6 houses across Calgary, but they had little to no equity in them. So I let about a year and a half go by, and the market rose quite a bit at that time. There was a bit of a boom there in the mid-2000s in Calgary, Alberta, and I really wanted to get into apartment buildings, and I wanted to have access to a larger amount of capital. And so I presented to the owner of an apartment building that I liked an option to trade for some of my houses for his equity swap, so I could take over the building and have my equity consolidated in that building, and he'd take 2 or 3 of my houses. And it worked out for me. I was able to find an apartment building that worked for, and I was able to access my equity that way, and that's how I got access to my first $100,000. So I collected enough single-family homes, houses, rented out across Calgary, Alberta. I wanted to get into apartment buildings. I couldn't really access the equity I had in each of my houses. It was not enough. It was maybe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 equity that I had in any given home. And I maybe had 5 or 6 houses back then. Yet I wanted to get into apartment buildings and eventually into developing. And I needed to have access to a larger amount of money to do that. So what I did was start looking at apartment buildings that were posted for sale and approaching the owners, seeing if they're willing to do an equity swap, essentially a trade for a set amount of my houses for a given apartment building that they own that they want to sell. And luckily enough, it worked out for me. I found a seller, a private seller of a great apartment building in a wonderful location in downtown area, Marda Loop, southwest Calgary. And he was willing to take about three of my houses in trade for the apartment building. So what that did is consolidate a lot of my equity into the apartment building. I got a new mortgage, new financing on the apartment building that unlocked I did a bit of upgrades too to the apartment building. I was able to get the rents up a bit higher. So some new flooring, some new windows, I put a new roof on it, that type of stuff. Had the building appraised. And I remember having it appraised. I went in to meet the manager at TD Bank, and he came out and said, yes, we've got a sort of like a HELOC, a home equity line of credit is how the mortgage was structured. And it opened up $412,000 to me as a secured line of credit. The rest was held in equity as security in the mortgage. And that was amazing. That I know that's more than $100,000, but that's the first 6 figures that I made that I had access to in my career. And it was done through starting at the bottom of collecting houses and then eventually trading them for something bigger, and then being able to improve that a bit and then access all that money through the home equity line of credit. So either way you do it, it's definitely achievable to reach your first $100,000. It's a milestone, it's a big step, very exciting. Some people say it's the hardest. It can be. I hit $1 million pretty quickly after that. So I don't know. I think once you have the first $100,000, it's actually easier to put $1 million together after that. However, find your avenue, find a niche that works for you, work hard at it, be dedicated. It's going to take sacrifice. Be willing to trade that sacrifice to reach your goal. And amassing $100,000 is a wonderful goal, a wonderful achievement once you get it. So, be true to yourself, find an avenue that you shine the most in, and don't give up, never quit, plow forward. You'll reach that goal and probably very much supersede it. If you'd like to get a copy of my book, The Unlikely Millionaire, the ebook and the audiobook will be available February 1st. Link will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Bye.